Okay, first set a text. Change the text to impossible with caps lock. Keep the font as this default font here. Change it to bold. For height, enter 190. Change this intermediate port to neutral. Enter 20 here. ND on the scene to see the subdivisions. Save the file for now. Also for the depth of the text, enter 198. Open asset browser, search for axes, drag and drop geometry axis under the text. Put the text inside a remesh generator. On the remesh generator, change the detect hard edges to shading. Zoom out a little bit to see everything. Put everything inside the null. Add a bevel deformer inside the null. On the bevel deformer subdivision, change it to 1. Add a null inside the connect object. Add a bend deformer inside this connect. Now put the connect object inside the null. On the null, come to coordinates, change this to 90. Come back to bend. Come to object tab. Select the positive X. Click on fit to parent. Now change the string to -180. Now you have this kind of deformation on the text. Now we need another bend deformer on the opposite side. So first duplicate this null, turn off and on the remesh generator to see the correct effect here. That's okay for now. On the null, come to coordinates, change the RH to -90. Also change the RP to 180. Save the file for now. Now from this second null, we just need the bend deformer, not all these other objects. So just drag and drop the bend outside this null and remove the second null and all its object inside it. We need to repeat this single text along these deformers. So for now, turn off this connect object, push out this bend deformer to be direct child of this null. Also put this second bend deformer below this first bend. Put this inner null that's containing the text inside the cloner object. On the cloner object, come to object tab, change this grid to linear, change the count from 3 to 6. Also change the PY to 0, PX to 1080. We need to push up this cloner object to get the correct effect. So for now, let's turn off remesh generator and bevel deformer for more responsive scene. Select this cloner. Come to coordinates, change this px value on the cloner object until it covers the whole cage of bend deformers. That seems okay for now. Save the file. The whole idea of getting that effect in 3D is if you come to camera, change it to parallel, zoom out a little bit, come here, come to camera, come to details tab, check off the enable linear clipping, and if you see the object from a special angle like this, you can get the illusion of this loop, but in real 3D it is not closed loop, but from this specific angle you think it's closed. So we need to trim off this end, and if we come to cloner object, come to coordinates and push the px even more, we see that we need to trim off this and this part of the loop so it's not overlapping and don't break the illusion. So we achieve it with boolean operation. Select the cloner, add it inside the bool, put the cube inside this bool, fold up the cloner object, put it above the cube. Let's also get back to perspective camera, zoom out a little bit. Okay, as you can see, our cube is here. When I push it down or up, you can see it affecting this part. So make the cube much longer, also make it a little wider in these two axes, push it up until it covers this end of the text so it doesn't comes out of the bend deformer cage. Play with it until you are happy with the result. I need to push it down a little bit more, and now it's edge to edge. That's good. Also we need to do the same for this part. This part is okay for now, but this end also need another bool. So save the file, click on the bool, add it inside another bool, duplicate the cube inside this outer bool, change the order, put the inner bool above the cube. Also select the second cube. We need to move it way down until it goes here. Now you can see when I move this second cube, it's removing this part of the text. You can see the effect here. Also it seems I need to make this cube much longer. So make it longer. I think this much is okay. Push it down until you see the edge of the text and edge of the bend deformer to be same here. Okay. Now the key to get exact precise result for this effect, you need to consider two things. First, the bend deformer should not intersect with each other. So come to side views and select each of these bend deformer and push them up until they are as close as possible on this z-axis plane. This is good for this bend deformer. Let's go for this second one. Come to this view, push this one down until they are not intersecting. And now you can see these two deformers are not intersecting with each other. It's also visible here. Another thing is that you come to these side views and change the position for these cubes until the edge of texts are clean and intersecting with the bend deformers. So I will select this cube, move it up and down slightly until the edge of this deformer and the text are touching each other. This is okay. Now come to main view, select the cloner, coordinates, play with this value until we have the letter touching in this side because I want to adjust it. That's okay for now. We can see the S is cut it here. So come back to this right view, select this inner cube, move it until the edge of the text and this deformer are exactly at the same position. This seems very good. Now let's add a camera. Let's also add a null. Rename the null to target. Add the target tag on the camera, drag and drop target null here, alt 0 on the camera, push it on one side, add another panel, change this default camera to RS camera. Now for positioning the camera, go on top view, move it until you see these two edges are touching each other. Seems okay for now. Another one important thing for getting great result is that don't move the camera on the Y axis and let the PY on the camera to be 0. Go back to main view. Now we want some of this instance on the cloner object to be rotated on their Y axis. So we add the plane effector on the cloner. Select the cloner, add the plane effector, come to parameters, check off position, check on rotation, change the RP for this one to -180, come to fields, add the formula field here, delete the formula, and enter this mod ID semicolon 4, close the parentheses, equal to 3. But we need another plane effector, so duplicate this one. Select the cloner object, come to effector tab, drag and drop this one under the first plane effector, and this effector, change the RP to +180, come to fields, and this time change this 3 to 2. Now we need to adjust the spacing between the instances on the cloner to make a perfect complete letter here. Select the cloner, come to object tab, change this value gradually until you see the second half of this S here. Let's make it bigger. Change this seems okay. We can always come back here and play with this value. Also, let's go back to camera, coordinates, move the coordinates of the camera until it seems perfect. That's good, I love it. Now you can come back to cloner, come to coordinates and play with this px value, and as you can see, the letter seems very good even at this breaking point. You can animate this value on the timelines to having a looping fold, but for now I don't need to animate it. I put it at this value here, save the file, make this window smaller, open RS render view, hit on play. On the panel, click on the view, use as render view. You need to make it center, pause the render for now. Select the target and the camera, go to top view and move them until you see the whole center of the frame. Hit on play again, that's very good. Now let's add an infinite light here. Duplicate the target tag on this infinite light. Move this infinite light until we are happy with the results for now. I think this is good. Let's also add the dome light. Come to object, make the intensity much lower value. That's good for now, save the file. Let's add a plane as a background, rotate it, make this render view smaller, pause it for now. Push this to the side, select this plane, push it back, make this plane much bigger until it covers the whole background. You can also play with the rotation of it here on these coordinates. Now let's add materials. Open material manager, add a material, open it. First let's add a ramp here, connected to the base color. Change this black color to a red color like this, and change this white to an orange like this. Now on the RSS standard, I will change the roughness to 0.8. Change the IOR to 2, and the transmission I will change the weight to 0.7. Let's add a color correction node here, color correct here, connect the ramp to this color correct on the RSS standard, add the transmission color to these ports. Also add the color for the subsurface scattering here. Also on the emission, now on color correct, change the contrast to 0.8, connect to this transmission color, subsurface color. On the material, come to soft surface, change the weight to 0.5. Also connect this ramp to this color for the emission and change the weight for the emission to 0.1. On the ramp, change the source to alt. Add this material to the main text object and we add it here on the null. Hit on play. Now let's adjust some problems. First come to lights. Check off cast shadow for both of the lights. Also enable remesh and bevel here. Put everything inside the subdivision surface. Make this smaller. Reposition the RS infinite light. Maybe it is better to turn off emission on the infinite light, increase the exposure. Because of transmission and subsurface scattering, you can see this effect that we can see through the text. That's good. Now let's make the material for the plane. Add the material, add it to the plane, add a ramp inside it here. Change the color on the ramp to this blue and this lighter one. On the RSS standard, increase the weight for the emission. Connect this ramp as an input for the emission here. On the ramp, change the mapping from vertical to horizontal. Also, you can play with the sliders and the color to get a different hue here. Let's also connect the ramp to the base color here, and it is more pronounced now. Select the RS infinite light and increase the exposure on to get much lighter and more pronounced shadows and highlights. You can also change the dome light intensity, its exposure, and our scene is ready. Don't forget the final project file is in the description. You can download and play around with the scene. And if you are interested to learning more about Cinema 4D, especially how to work with this displacer deformer, I highly recommend you to watch this video.